Hey, what's going on? My name is House. Just got finished with paramedic school. Just decided to go ahead and put a couple videos together to help some of my buddies and anybody else out there trying to go through paramedic school, do the drug calculations. So the one I'm gonna do today is dopamine. Alright. So here's dopamine. This is what it comes like when it's pre-mixed. And here is dopamine in the green one when it comes in a vial. It's 400 milligrams in this vial right here. There's also 400 milligrams inside of this pre-filled bag, right? Pre-mixed bag. Alright, so what we do is we give dopamine as a vasopressor. It constricts the blood vessels in the peripherals to increase the circulating volume inside of the veins, right? So here we go. Dopamine. Alright, inside of this vial is 400 milligrams in 10 milliliters. That's what's in here. 410 milliliters. Okay? So, in order for us to be able to administer this, dopamine has to be diluted down into an actual, I guess, a less concentration in order to be administered because it's so potent. So what we normally do is this right here is what we call a 1600 concentration, right? So I'll just write 1600 microgram per milliliter concentration. Okay. In order for you to be able to get a 1600 microgram concentration, you have to take this 400 milligrams that's in that vial and put it in 250 cc's. Now, in order to be able to do that, what they do, or what we do, is we actually take 1000 cc bag and we squeeze out 3/4 of it. So 1000 minus 750 cc's leaves you with 250 cc's. Okay? Alright, so now I'm going to show you how we get 400 milligrams and a 1600 microgram concentration, how these are one and the same. Alright, so once we got this 400 milligrams right here, and we take it, we're going to dump it into this 250 milliliter bag, right? Draw it up, push it into the 250 milliliter bag that we took the 1000 and squeezed out of, or you can take a 500 bag and squeeze half of that out, and that'll give you 250 milliliters as well. What we need to do though, in order to show that this is a 1600 microgram concentration, is we need to convert this milligrams over into micrograms. Alright, so in order to do that, we want to cross multiply milligrams on bottom, and 1 milligram there is 1000 micrograms. Okay, cross out the milligrams, that ends up being 400,000 micrograms all over 250 milliliters. Okay, if you cross each one of the zeros out, that ends up being 40,000 micrograms and 25 milliliters. Well, once you do the math on it and you divide 40,000 by 25, you get 1600 micrograms per milliliter. Okay? That means that this vial inside of a 250 cc bag is the exact same as this pre-filled bag. Okay? Alright, now, once you have that information, you know what your concentration is. So what a doctor will normally order, you may have standing orders to do what we call 5 to 20 micrograms per kilograms per minute. So you might have a patient who's in symptomatic bradycardia, and you have run through all your protocols, and now you've gotten down to the point where you want to increase the circulating volume to give this person a blood pressure, so the doctor's going to order you to administer dopamine. And we'll just take small numbers for right now. We'll just say he tells you to give 5 microgram per kilogram per minute. Okay? That's a minute right there at the end. Alright? And in order to administer dopamine, dopamine is weight based. So you have to know what the person's weight is. Let's say this person, just for easy math, weighs 220 pounds. Okay? When you convert 220 pounds over into kilograms, right, you're either going to divide by 2.2, which will give you 100 kilograms, right? Or you can divide by 2 and then take 10% of whatever that number is. So in this case, we would divide by 2, right, which would give us 110, and then we would take 10% of 110 and subtract that, which would also give us 100. So then that's 100 kilograms is what this person actually weighs. Alright, so then once we know that we need to administer 5 micrograms per kilogram per minute. Alright, so we look at what we got. We have, from the last workup, we have a 250 milliliter bag. Alright, inside of that 250 milliliter bag is how much drug. Alright, our amount of dopamine is 400 milligrams. Right? 250 bag, 400 milligrams. Same thing with this. This is a 250 bag, 400 milligrams. Okay? So, once we do that, that's the first part of it. Then we say, okay, well, how many micrograms was ordered? 5 micrograms per kilogram was ordered. I'm going to come back to the minutes in a second. Okay? So then, put our kilograms up here. That'll cancel our kilograms out. Right? Okay? And then, let's shrink it down a little bit. Alright? So we got a 250 milliliter bag, 400 milligrams. Alright? Then what was ordered was the 5 micrograms over the kilograms. Then we're going to do 100 kilograms. We can take the minutes and we can drop that on the bottom. Right there. Right? And then, normally when you give dopamine or any drug, you're going to use a 60 drop set. Alright? That's what that means. 60 drops in a milliliter, or a 60 drop set. So then, we're going to simply just put milliliters need to cancel out. Milliliters going to go on the bottom. 60 drops goes on the top. Right? So then that'll cancel out. And then we want to do the weight. And the conversion from milligrams to micrograms. Right? So we got the weight up here. Right there. And we want to do the conversion of milligrams to micrograms. So we want to take, we're going to put 1,000 micrograms So what you end up with is milliliters, cancel out. Milligrams, cancel out. Kilograms, cancel out. Micrograms, cancel out. And you're left with drops per minute. Okay? So it ends up being 250 times 5 times 100 times 60. All of that divided by 400,000. And then your units drops over minutes. You can go through it, start canceling zeros. Okay? And now you're left with 25 times 5 times 1 times 6. All of that over 40. Alright? So we can do 25. 4 25s would be 100, right? So 5 of them would be 125. 125 times 6, right? So we got 125 times 6, that's 30. 6 times 2 is 12, 13, 14, 15. 6 and that's 7. 750 divided by 40 is what? Let me use our calculator for this one. Is equal to, let me put it right here, 18.75 drops per minute. And that's your answer. So if a person was in cardiogenic shock, or they're having pump failure, and we want to increase the blood circulating volume so that we can raise their blood pressure, and the doctor ordered that we can give 5 micrograms per kilogram per minute of dopamine, we can take a 250 bag, or we can create a 1600 microgram concentration in order to administer roughly 19 drops a minute in order to pick their blood pressure up. Okay, so that's what that means. Now, once you get a little fancy, you realize that all of these numbers have relationships. So this is a 1600 concentration. If I wanted to make it less concentrated, I could take, instead of putting this 400 milligrams inside of a 250 bag, I could take the 400 milligrams and put it in a 500 cc bag. Right? Now, how does this affect the overall concentration? It doubles. And if you did a calculation on it, it should go for what's 18 times 2. 18 times 2, 15 and 15 is what? 30. So 36, roughly. That's what would happen. Another thing you can do, you can actually play around with if this number doubles. So let's say we take it back down to a 250, but we increase how much? We take that from a 5 to the 10. That number should double as well, because we're doing twice as much drug, twice as much fluid. The numbers all have a relationship to one another. So I encourage you to do the math, play around with it, and see what you come up with. As a matter of fact, I got a couple minutes, so we'll just work it out and see what happens. 60 all over 400,000. Right? 25 times 6 is what? 25 and 4 is $1. So plus two more, that should be 150. Right? 150 divided by 4. Alright. 4 can go into 15, 3. Right? Makes 12, 5, 4, 3. 3 is 30. 37. There you go. Our relationship, mathematical relationships. So hopefully that helps you with dopamine. So that you can. Once again, my name is